So in this video, we're going to be talking about adding and subtracting integers. And integers is just a fancy mathematical way of saying positive and negative numbers. Let's first start out by looking at if you have a negative minus a negative number. That's kind of like that you are taking away negatives. So if you're taking away negatives, you're adding in positives. So negative 2 minus negative 2, I like to think of it as negative 2 plus 2. So if you're at negative 2, you're adding 2, which ends up at 0. Then if you have a negative plus a negative, it's like saying you're starting off with a negative and you're adding more negatives in. So you're going farther away from 0 into the negative zone. So if we have negative 3 plus negative 2, it's like saying we have negative 3 and then we're subtracting 2 more because we're going farther away from the 0, 2 more. So we're at negative 3 and then we're going away from the 0, 2 more, down to negative 5. If we have a positive minus a negative, it's like saying we're taking away negatives here again. If we're taking away negatives, we're going away from the negative side towards the positive side. So 3 minus negative 2, think of it as 3 plus 2. So we start at 3 and we're adding 2, which will end us at positive 5. If we have a positive plus a negative, it's like saying we're adding in negatives. If you're adding in negatives, you're kind of going towards this negative side more. So 2 plus negative 2 is like saying 2 minus 2, because you're bringing those negatives in. So we're at 2, and then we're subtracting 2 to end at 0. I'll take a screenshot of this and put this in the comments below. Now that's great, but chances are you're going to come up with numbers that you have to work with that are not easy to draw a quick little number line for. So let's use those concepts with larger numbers where you're not going to draw out a whole number line. So if you had negative 87 plus 72, obviously drawing a number line for that would be a little bit silly. But we're still going to use our thinking of what the number line is to help us kind of work our way through. So if we're at negative 87, that's somewhere around here. We know it's before 0 because it's negative. And if we're adding 72, that's like depositing $72 into our bank account. We're getting it. So we're going to go this way a little bit. We know it's going to be less than 0 though, because we would have to have 87 to get us all the way to 0. So let's find the difference. Let's find out what this little space here is. Sorry, I have a cat grabbing my hand. $15. So we know that this mark right here is going to be negative 15. All right, let's do a negative minus a negative, because I always find that those could be the harder ones. Negative 41 minus negative 36. And again, we're not going to draw out a full number line for this. That would be a little bit silly because it's way too many numbers. But we know that negative 41 is around here somewhere on this side. And if we're taking away negative 36, it means that we are actually, from our notes, we're saying if we're taking away negatives, we're actually adding in positives. So I like to think of this as not having two symbols with each other. Negative 41. And it's some strategy that relates right to this that I remember learning when I was in 7th grade, was you take those two negatives, minus a negative, and turn it into an addition symbol in between. Because we're adding the 36. So negative 41 plus 36. So we know we're adding 36. It's going to go somewhere around here. We're looking for what is this space here, so we can get a number for what that location is right there. We know it's -5. And again, we know it's -5 because we haven't hit 0 yet, so we know it's negative. Let's try a negative plus a positive. -41 plus 26. It's kind of the straightforward one. So we're at -41, again, somewhere around here. And we're adding 26. So if we're adding 26, we're going towards the right, towards the 0, towards the positive numbers. We want to know what number is right here. So we want to figure out that difference. So we'll subtract. This is not done on purpose to get the same numbers here. 15, so we know it's a -15 because we haven't reached the 0 yet. And then let's do a negative plus a negative